Alright, so we're leaving the Uncle Johnny's hostel here at the Nolechucky River in Erwin, Tennessee. Getting back on the trail. It is 10:57 a.m. Getting a late start because the shuttle that took us to breakfast didn't leave until 9 a.m. So I'm on trail now. Here's the Nolechucky. Over the Nolechucky, come straight in back into the woods. Alright, so this is the beginning of day 7 of my trek to Damascus for this section hike. And we're going through a bit of a heat wave. Even in the mountains, you know, it's getting up to close to the 90s, upper 80s. It's kind of unpleasant, hot, humid, but you know, doable as long as you're drinking your water. Don't know how many miles I'm going to hike today. Just coming out of the hostel, Uncle Johnny's hostel. So I don't know how many miles I'm going to hike today. I have about 16 scheduled. 16, 17, but there's this big climb, about 1,000-foot climb very at the end, and so I don't know if I'll feel like doing that or not. We'll see. Little creek's not flowing. It's like dried up. Alright, so it's 1:11. I'm here at the Curly Maple Gap shelter. I got here a little while ago. I doctored some blisters and hot spots on my toes, and now I'm gonna continue heading north. The goal today is to get to somewhere. I don't know where yet. When I stop for lunch, I'll kind of get that out and we'll talk about it. Alright, let's get it going. Whoa. So the hike up to that shelter out of Erwin was not so bad. Heck of a lot easier than most hikes out of towns. But we're still going up. Some nice foundation. It's a well-built foundation. Starting to find the wild blueberries ripe. I stop every once in a while, pick 4 or 5, chuck them in my mouth. You could spend all day picking those things and eating them. I don't have time. So just pick a few, enjoy them, move on. Alright, so it's 3:04. We're coming down into Indian Grave Gap. It's like a dirt road and a couple other roads just all coming together. I'm going to find a shady spot and kind of decide on where I'm going to be camping at tonight. Look at the distances and times and things like that, because it is already 3 o'clock. Bear activity. So it's 3:11 and we're leaving Indian Gap Shelter. And I'm going to have lunch at Beauty Spot. That says it's 2.3. That says Beauty Spot's 2.3 miles away from here, but my guide said it's more like 3.8 or something like that. So last time I trusted one of those signs, I was walking for 2.5 hours when I thought I was only going to walk for 1.5. So I'm going to trust my guide. So in a couple hours, break for lunch at the Beauty Spot. Let's see what that is. It's supposed to be a clearing. Some really good views. It's a real nice day too, so we should get some good views. Is that the road crossing before the Beauty Spot? There's a bike sitting there. Excuse me. Look like you've been sitting there. Look like you've been sitting there for a while. And I think this is Beauty Spot. I don't know. So maybe up there is Big Beautiful. It is 4:35. I just came off of Beauty Spot and there was a nice older couple up there eating lunch or dinner or whatever, and fried chicken and things like that from KFC. They had a bucket of chicken. He offered me a piece and I was like, well, you know, thank you, but you know, blah blah, and just being nice like an idiot, right? And then so I was up there with my cell phone and checking text messages and things like that, and they offered me some piece of chicken again. I was like, yeah, I'll take one. So I grabbed a piece of chicken, had a nice big old piece of chicken. They probably could have helped myself to the baked beans and everything else they had, but I didn't want to impose myself, so I didn't. So what I'm going to do right now is before I head up this big old mountain to get to the shelter, because I have decided I am going to go ahead and summit this next summit and stay at the shelter on the other side. Before I do that, I'm going to sit down and eat the rest of my lunch, which is going to be a thing of chips and a Coca-Cola, because I brought some bags of chips and a few Coca-Colas for my lunches. But I'm not going to bring my food bag out because that piece of chicken was good enough. Alright, let's do it. Alright, so I think I'm starting the ascent up Untitled Mountain. So I need to get up and over Untitled in order to get to the shelter that I want to stay at tonight. Can't really remember the name of it. I think it's like cherry something. I'm not sure. So it's going to be about 1,000-foot ascent, pretty steep. Up one side, down the other. And then we'll be at the shelter. It's about a 5 mile, something like that. I hope this is Annika. I hope that last spot was a beauty spot. I don't know, I don't think this can be Annika Mountain, but I don't know. Might be. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Annika Mountain. So now it's just a descent down into Low Gap and then a little bit of an ascent onto up to the shelter. It's 4.3 miles, I think. So we'll be there in a couple hours. So I called at 7 o'clock this morning, and it's about when we're going to be there. So it's great. I'm going to take a quick look around because there's some blueberry bushes up here, see if there's any blueberries to eat. None on this plant. So I recently just started the ascent up Annika Mountain. It's about 1,000 foot up. About 1,000 foot climb. And then a descent down onto Low Gap. And then a short climb up into, or up to the shelter. It's going to take me about another 2 hours if I keep my pace up, which I am. It's not too bad of a climb so far. Putting me at camp at about 7:30, which is pretty darn close to what I thought at the beginning of the day. All right. Let's do it. There's supposed to be a bunch of these spruce trees up here. First one I've seen, a little small one over there. A couple tall ones in the background. Pretty big one right there. An old Charlie Brown spruce tree right there. So yeah, we got some spruces coming in. Cool. You're really starting to see a difference in the ecosystem up here. Moss covered, ferns, fallen trees with moss all over them. Dense spruce. It's very reminiscent of the Smoky Mountain National Park. The highest elevation on this mountain, on Annika Mountain, is 5,160 feet. And it's just really cool up here. Alright, so we're in the thick of it now. It's a real dense spruce forest. It smells like Christmas in here. Very cool. Very cool. Alright, so I think I'm making the descent down its low gap. Might take about an hour and then get to the shelter, maybe another half hour. So that's going to put me there around 8 o'clock. Oh God, that smells good. All these spruces around me. Smells just like Christmas. I'm about 20 minutes away from the shelter. Right down there. Know the name of it. I think it's like cherry something, and I made it before the rain started. It has since kind of cooled down a little bit, but I imagine it's gonna let go here at some point. So first priority is to get my tarp up, and then my hammock.